It's perfect.
This is so specific. If you are currently playing in a campaign where your DM also listens to our podcast and took inspiration from the Starspawn episode, and because of that is making an entire campaign around the Starspawn, and you are now listening to this and like the Circle of the Spore Druid, then you can say that the symbiotic relationship you have is from the same comet where the Starspawn came and also the spores came and took over your mind, and now you are trying to figure out why this. I'm done.
You
I'm done.
you happening to be a blade singer wizard. Yes. So all 19 people who exist like that, you're welcome.
Welcome to Monsters and Multiclass, your weekly Dungeons & Dragons fix. I'm Kevin Odie.
I'm Jared Portal.
And I'm Will Melvin.
And we'll be hanging out with you for the next hour to talk about anything and everything D&D related. This week we're looking at the Druid Wizard Multiclass, and then later on the Phoenix from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. So pull up a chair and listen up.
Elemental. Oh, I fucked it up. You'll just have to cut that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just cut it, man.
What? I was trying to say Elder Elemental Part 4, but I said Elder Elemental. Elemental P.
Just ignore it.
Sorry.
Introduce the worst multi-class of all time, please.
All right. So this week we're taking a look at the Druid Wizard multi-class. The Druid is a nature-based full spellcaster who can wild shape into animals and cast nature-y spells. The Wizard is a full spellcaster, very smart.
Arcana-based spellcaster, the classic wizard. They're the bookworm.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Nerds. All right. Druid, the only requirement is a 13 in wisdom. Wizard, the only requirement is a 13 in intelligence in order to multi-class these two. So we're only relying on 2, or are we? Let's go ahead and get to first thoughts. Kevin.
This one, it's okay. I think there's a couple cool combinations that could be a lot of fun to play and not too terrible. But there's a lot of ways to just kind of make a really ineffective character.
I think full spellcasters can mesh well when they have the same spellcasting ability.
Yes.
But druids are wisdom, wizards are intelligence. Right out the gate, we're splitting the most important thing, which is their spellcasting ability modifier. Will, first thoughts beyond that? Maybe on the role-playing side.
No, I hate this. There is the only saving grace in my opinion is there is probably some hidden potential in mixing these spell lists. The Druid has a very unique spell list. The Wizard has a very comprehensive spell list. If you go this combination, you're only missing like cleric spells. You know, this is a very broad category of spell casting. But everything else I don't see really going that well together.
One small benefit is you get some healing spells as a wizard. From Druid spell list. I mean, it's just something small, but wizards don't get healing for a reason. You know, they're good at everything else, so we don't need to add healing to the list. So good way to get that. I think the number one thing that I'm seeing is that Circle of the Moon, which is usually our go-to, is pretty bad for this combination. Mm-hmm. So Circle of the Moon is the Druid subclass that allows you to wild shape as your main thing. You'll be wild shaping basically every fight, kind of.
Or
turn it
already wild. You only can do it twice, but
you're right. You're right.
Already wild shaped.
You'll be wild shaped a lot. You get a higher challenge rating thing to turn into, but you can't cast spells in wild shape. So that right away is just completely pointless if you're dipping into wizard.
Almost. So there's the one wizard class that the one that's really unique that I think kind of saves it for a lot of multi-class, and that's Blade Song. Blade Singing, I should say. It's another way to sort of make that Gish character, the melee spellcaster.
Once again, this one is in Sword Coast Adventure Guide.
Yeah.
A book that I don't think most people have. That's a total guess.
Not sure.
I don't know the numbers.
I have no idea. Yeah.
It's like 100 pages, so it's kind of a small one.
It was an early.
We have it. I don't know.
Early lore edition book.
Yeah.
But either way.
Yeah. So their main thing is Blade Song, and they could do twice a day, I think. Yeah, feature twice, and then you get it back on short or long rest. As a bonus action, you enter Blade Song, where you can't have heavy or medium armor on. You can't be wielding a shield or two-handed weapons, which is not really an issue at all for this situation. When you activate it, you gain a bonus to your AC equal to your intelligence modifier. Your walking speed increases by 10. You have an advantage on acrobatics checks, and you gain a bonus to any constitution saving throws to maintain your concentration. The bonus equals your intelligence modifier.
Okay,
you
right.
could do that while wild shaped.
I could see that being good. You cast a spell before going into wild shape.
Yeah,
hold concentration on it with advantage, and then you got bonus to your AC. Okay, that part's pretty good. One small thing with Blade Singer is that it does have this restriction to elves, which we've talked about before. Totally up to DM discretion as to whether or not you want to follow through with that.
Right.
Rules as written, this is restricted to elves and half-elves.
Yeah, but it even goes on to say your DM could lift it. I mean, that's not a bad thing to get over. Anyways,
no.
There is a roleplay fluff-wise. It's a little weird picture art. So I morph into a bear, and then I enter a Blade song.
I would say that's not like a little bit of a problem in my eyes. That's a huge problem.
Raw, it's fine.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
No restrictions on that. Flavor-wise, because it talks about how even though it's called Blade Song, they don't actually need to be wielding a blade. You could do this with a warhammer or something. It talks about though how it looks like when they enter the Blade Song, they're dancing in battle and move with this fluidity.
Dancing bear.
Yeah.
Is that where you're going with that?
Yeah. So like you picture this really like dexterous, nimble, person, weaving magic in and out of their melee flourishes in battle, and it looks like this beautiful, elegant dance. But now they're a bear. So what I was going to say that actually really lines up well with druids is Blade Singers are elves who bravely defend their people and lands. Yeah. Which is like number one thing for druids is they're very protective of their domain. So that actually lines up very well. Just the first bit of flavor there. And if we just take out the word elves, it works for anyone. Right. Though an elf, I don't think it would be bad race for.
No. I don't think so at all. Yeah. It's totally fine to be an elf. It's just
a drizzard.
A drizzard?
It's totally fine to be an elf. This is an anti-elf podcast. Long live it, bastards.
That dwarf in you's really, really coming out. I think Wooid works. Wooid. All right, drizzard it is. Drizzard.
Now let's go with Wooid. Okay. I think that needs to be our goal. Just make the worst ones possible. Wooid. Whoa. Oh, I know what was the last one again? The Palerderer. Thank you. And now we got the Wooid.
Right. I think this does let us get into one that we have not mentioned before, and we've just been ignoring. Circle of Spores.
Yeah.
So this is in Ravnica's guide. What is it called?
Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica.
Thank you.
Yes. This was the other one I had written down.
We didn't own this book. We still don't own this book. I just made you buy the class recently because I realized we haven't been talking about it. Because
didn't make me.
I asked you nicely.
No, you asked me to buy the turtle.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
so we didn't have the turtle.
And I realized, I forgot you could do this piecemeal, and so I bought the subclasses from Guild. This isn't important.
Meta.
The people came here to. All right, sorry. Circle of Spores. So that is one that the Druid wild shape is can be replaced by this halo of spores. So
symbiotic entity.
Sorry, you're right. Symbiotic entity, where you can just gain some temp HP. Your spores damage happens more often. I don't know how much to go into with this one. How familiar are other people with the Circle of Spores?
I think probably not very.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty new.
This is in the newest subclass.
Yeah, and it's in a book a lot of people aren't just going to buy outright.
Right.
Unless they're specifically looking to run something in Ravnica.
Right. So this one it's actually a really cool Druid subclass because I think it breaks the mold of other Druid classes. So it's a Spore.
No, I got it. That was bad. That was really
I liked
bad.
it.
Thank you. Yes. Its Halo of Spores is its second level ability and its main class feature. You're surrounded by invisible necrotic spores that are harmless until you unleash them on a creature nearby. If it's within 10 feet of you, you can use your reaction to deal 1d4 necrotic damage to a creature unless they succeed on a con saving throw against your spell save DC. Necrotic damage increases at 6th level to 1d6, 1d8 at 10th level, and 1d10 at 14th level. So it's got some scaling involved in it.
Yeah, and it's just your reaction. And it happens on when they enter within 10 feet or start their turn there. So it's actually a way to do damage not on your turn.
Right.
Which is kind of nice, just using your reaction. No other resources.
Yeah, I'd say it's actually pretty strong for a reaction. You're looking at a class, a druid, which doesn't have that many reaction abilities.
No.
Basically giving you free damage. I don't think it's overpowered in any way.
Definitely not.
Just because of the fact that one, it's at low levels, 1d4 damage. It's not much. But on top of that, in comparison to other classes where damage is the focus, it's never going to compete. Druids do not have high damage spells. They're more battlefield control. They're more utility. They're definitely not the ones who are going to be your big damage dealer. They're no plurderer.
I think actually the biggest problem with the Halo Spores is that it adds a thing that you now have to do at some point during the round, every round, or you're wasting your time. Like, it's not a lot of damage, but it really adds up if you have any kind of long-term fights. And you just gotta, I think a lot of people are going to forget that they have this up a lot.
Interesting. I don't know if I completely agree with that. I'd say maybe at the start, but if you're not using this every time, you're right. You're kind of neglecting a very important class feature.
I mean, we do this too. You know, oh shit, I forgot to do my X, Y, or Z
Nope.
thing.
I don't do that anymore.
No,
I don't.
Every time,
nope.
Man. Every round, you're like, oh shit, I forgot my extra attack.
No,
I don't know how dumb you are, but yeah, this is a reaction
been a while
too.
since we've had issues with forgetting stuff like that.
No, it happens every now and then. Usually later in the night, but like every single round, you've now got a reaction that you have to remember to do. So.
Yeah, right. And kind of use it at your best time.
With multiclassing in a wizard, though, it will compete with stuff like absorb elements or shield, because those are both reactions as well, and you only get one, so that makes it a little.
So that's where I was thinking that another seldomly loved subclass might actually mix pretty well here, and that is the War Mage. So War Mage doesn't get this bonus attack, but it does get to use its... oh, wait, that might be a reaction.
It is.
Oh, no. Okay, so the War Mage gets a reaction, and it can add its +2 to its AC or +4 to a saving throw, but those actually step on each other pretty darn hard here.
Yeah, any kind of reliance on reactions kind of ruined by the Spore Druid. In a little bit of a way.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. But let's finish up talking about the Spore Druid, though, because it is new, and we haven't really handled it on here.
Okay, so this is the Spore Druid episode, everyone. Yeah. Well, I was just messing with you.
I really like this. I like this upgrade.
I do too. So it's worth talking about.
Yeah, then at second level, you get Symbiotic Entity. It's another use for your wild shape. So you gain 4 temp hit points equal to your Druid level, which
scales really well.
Very nice. And then, while it's active, it lasts for 10 minutes, actually.
Mm-hmm. Or until the temp HP goes away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's those benefits last for 10 minutes until you lose all temp HP or until you use your wild shape again.
Yeah. So then when you have it up, when you deal your Halo Spore damage, roll the damage die second time and add it to the total. And your melee weapon attacks deal an extra 1d6 poison damage to any target they hit.
Right.
So it kind of makes it a little bit melee focused, because then you want to be within 10 feet of these things to use that Halo Spores and all that. And what's the one wizard subclass that helps with that too? Bladesinger. Yep,
yeah, so
exactly.
You can get multi.
And you can have both of these up. You could have Blade Song and Symbiotic Entity. Yeah, there it is.
No reason against that. So,
and it will take a turn to get them both up. The Symbiotic Entity is an action. Blade Song's a bonus action, so just one turn you do.
Oh, well, that's not bad then.
Yeah, both of them. So then all of a sudden, you got the double damage on your Halo Spores. Your attacks do an extra 1d6 damage. You got a bunch of temp HP. Your AC has gone up by your intelligence modifier, walking speed by 10 feet, advantage on acrobatics checks, and advantage on, or a bonus on con saving throws. And if you take the Blade Song up to level 6, you get an extra attack. So then that 1d6 hits twice.
Yeah, and that's good. I think the one thing that is kind of bad about this is the nice thing about going into Druid with the Wizard multi-class is that you can get medium armor. But Blade Song limits you to light armor. So now we're focusing on 3 stats: Dexterity, Wisdom, and Intelligence. Officially, you can keep one at 13 if you're not casting too much with it. I don't know which one would be better off. Blade Song kind of gets you some good stuff with intelligence modifier, so maybe you keep that wisdom modifier low, but you are, in a way, relying on dexterity, because on top of that, as a druid, you're making your attack most likely with Shillelagh.
If you're chasing Dex,
yeah.
you're probably going to be abandoning Shillelagh.
So what weapons do you actually get to use then?
Does it matter?
Yeah, because you need to be able to use a finesse weapon.
Blade Song gives you proficiency in light armor, one-handed melee weapons, and one type of one-handed melee weapon of your choice.
Okay, so that's not bad. No great sword wizards here. What a bummer.
Right.
Okay.
No, yeah,
so
Blade Song cancels.
You're right then. Anyways. So you might have the old rapier and go Dex.
Of course it's going to be a rapier.
Yeah.
It's not our fault that Wizards of the Coast only made one 1d8 finesse weapon that's one-handed as well.
Yeah.
The rapier is too good. It's its own problem. Its own entire episode to talk about.
Wow, we don't like the rapier.
Yeah. And
rapier.
I have no problem with the rapier. It's just
is that how you actually say it? That sounds
rapier.
Yeah, I would say rapier sounds just kind of like snotty and pretentious.
It's like you're combining
anybody who's using a rapier is snotty and pretentious. It was a French weapon for noblemen. I don't have my only problem with it is it's a grossly impractical weapon in 99% of combat. Like, you use it to duel another unarmed nobleman. Outside of that, you're basically fighting with a toothpick.
No, it's totally true. I think it's a little silly that it gets the D8 treatment. I'd almost rather the scimitar, which is also a finesse weapon, but it's only a D6. I think something that I've mentioned before on this show, and I'll say again, is that don't fight with a player who wants to reflavor the rapier. If you're like, okay, so I want this character and it all works, but I have to use a rapier, but I absolutely hate the rapier, just like enable that. Be like, yeah, rapier, me too. Rapier, it doesn't matter. We're not a grammar podcast.
No, I'm actually chilling against this by sounding as stupid as possible. Reflavor your rapiers.
He said he's calling it the rapier to sound as stupid as possible. You're feeding right into that, Jared.
Anti-rapier game.
All right. Moving on. Talk about fungal infestation.
This is probably one of my favorite subclass features, but it's not very good.
No, it's not amazing. Basically, you can use your reaction to animate something that dies around you and turn it into a zombie with 1 HP. Now, if anything is good to come back with 1 HP, it's definitely a zombie, as they do have to fail a Constitution saving throw in order to actually die.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, they've got something that...
Oh, Undead Fortitude, yeah.
Yeah. So, only having 1 HP sucks, but it's possible for them to be around for at least a little bit. Overall, the DC is 5 plus the damage taken unless it's radiant or crit. So it has the potential to take a bit to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
It does take up your reaction. It overall is going to be much better to use as a reaction, and it pulls the action economy in your favor a little bit more. So I like that. You can use it up to your wisdom modifier and regain on a long rest.
So, it's also a great way to start burning your enemy's action economy. It's like, this may not be that threatening, but they do have to deal with this, and it might take an entire turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so now it's using an entire turn, or whatever, maybe a spell, who knows, to try and kill this thing. So, always good.
Mm-hmm. And then Spreading Spore is the 10th level. You could, as a bonus action while you have Symbiotic Entity on, you could hurl spores 30 feet away where they swirl in 10-foot cube for a minute. What does it do? Whenever a creature moves into the cube or starts its turn there, the creature takes your Halo of Spores damage, unless the creature sees on a con save. Equal your spell save DC.
And so it can only take it once per turn. It's not bad. Yeah. You also cannot use your Halo of Spores reaction which in a way can be good, because now you're freeing it up and you can have it happen regardless of reaction. True. The only thing that's bad is you cannot put this around your friendlies, because your allies will have to make that save as well. There's no... You put it in this area and only things that should take the damage are going to take the damage.
Right.
So, yeah, there's some pros and cons. Can you move it again, or is it just you move it once? I think you just move it once, and now it's there for 10 minutes. Or a minute, sorry.
Right.
That's not amazing, but it's not bad. See, I feel like you're just going to have people leave it and then never come back. It's something to combine with your Druid abilities of holding people in
Right.
an area.
Or just an small space.
Yeah, small space, but also not where you're going to be in that small space.
Yeah.
It's situational, but it's also cheap.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a reaction.
That's the nice thing about this. The Spore Druid is everything they do except for like fungal infestation, but even kind of that, it's so cheap.
Yeah.
They have so much economy just built into this subclass. Bonus actions, reactions. They can really do everything in every segment of a round.
Right. And yeah, even like their symbiotic entity, it's you get 2 uses of it because it's wild shape, but it comes back on a short rest.
Right. Pretty good.
Which is nice, yeah. And then the Blade Song, also 2 uses come back on a short rest. So they pair really well. And so you'll be able to do that frequently. It's not a long rest thing.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's actually a really good combo. But flavor wise, I have nothing. We're the mushroom druids, and
I found a spell book and I studied and but yeah, Blade Song is really specific. You're right. Yeah. It's more than just being a wizard.
Yeah,
I'm the defender of the Elvish Mushroom Kingdom. It's like, wow, how many of you exist? 2, I don't know, maybe 3 ever.
I mean, isn't that the benefit of being a PC?
Yeah, you get to be that really rare, weird thing.
And I only say that because
how I feel about
this is in absolutely no way a thing that people have been trying to do. I have not heard the community pushing towards the Circle of the Spore and Blade Singer multi-class. If that was a thing that everyone was trying to do, then yes, I agree. Shut it down.
Spore Slinger.
The Spore Slinger. Oh, yeah. I like that. That sounds super cool.
This is not even a Druid Wizard multi-class anymore. We've gone too specific, and now it's exclusively the Spore Slinger.
Cool. Fungal Body is the 14th level Circle of the Spore.
Probably
ability,
a little too far out, but
it's really good.
Yeah.
So it's worth chasing, I'll say. Yeah. At 14th level, the fungal spores in your body alter you. You can't be blinded, deafened, frightened, or poisoned, and any critical hit against you counts as a normal hit instead, unless you're incapacitated. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just throwing away critical hits against you feels real nice. Especially when I was level 8, and the other day I got critical hit for 60 damage in 1 turn or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, criticals suck, and we all know that.
I would actually even say that once you get your extra attack from Blade Singer, that's a decent place to stop.
Yeah. So level 6.
10th level for that is, what's that?
Song of Defense. You can use your reaction to expend 1 spell slot and reduce that damage to you equal an amount 5 times the spell slot's level. Not my favorite thing.
That's pretty gross, to be honest.
It's like a really desperate shield.
Yeah, because you're really not guaranteeing the complete mitigation of the damage. You are, unless you use a high level spell slot, which at 10th level you've got the...
You can take 25 off that 25 is nothing to shake a stick at, but
I'd shake a shillelagh at it because
nobody's using shillelagh in this thing. We got rid of that, man.
Oh, but you could
use a stick
if you wanted to ignore Dex. You could use shillelagh.
Yeah, just focus on intelligence and wisdom, and
then
use
your
shillelagh.
AC sucks.
Your AC is going to be fine.
Yeah, because then you get your intelligence to boosted to your AC.
Which would be great if you also had light armor and high dex.
Yeah.
Whatever, Will. No, you're right. You're
so
right.
In terms of roleplay justification, a thought is I'm not seeing anything that really describes so the main thing with the Spore Druid is they have these spores in them, these magical spores. And it's not really, I'm not seeing much detail on why they have that. So you have a wizard who studies the arcane arts who they're going after, they're delving some ancient tomb or whatever and come across this ancient fungal thing that's kind of magical and it infects them with its spores. And
Wait. This is just Wild Magic Search.
Mushroom style.
I get whatever. So what? It's they get infected with these magical spores from this magical fungus that no one knew existed, and it's this symbiotic relationship. It's literally called symbiotic entity. Like when you use these spores to alter your body, and so that gives you your Spore Druid powers.
Okay, I mean it's cool enough. I that's fine.
I say, what's wrong with it?
No, nothing's wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with it. Say the only thing that I came up with specifically was if a wizard basically brute forced their way into being a druid, and this is kind of separate of the Circle of the Spores. Just overall, wizards are intelligent beings, and if they had some specific interest in nature, I don't see why they... Are your keys jingling?
They got attached to my tablet magnet.
This is a professional podcast. If a wizard was specifically interested in nature, they could kind of brute force study their way into getting in tune with nature. So I know that might be, how do you feel about that? It's like kind of a bit of a stretch because the entire point of being a druid is you're in tune with nature. But this is like, you're so in tune with the study of nature. You have learned its ways and how it operates. And because of that, started to take on some of these druidic ideals.
I wouldn't signal against it.
No, yeah.
Okay.
I don't like it. I mean, it sounds like a dick thing to be. Like, I studied enough to figure out the secrets of your druid circle. Like, how do you do that? He read the contract and found a loophole. Now he's a druid.
Yeah.
Like, the druids would hate you, but...
Would they?
Yeah,
I mean, you're still...
probably.
As long as you're holding up their ideals, would other druids really be mad about that?
I don't spend a lot of time with druids, man.
You seem like that type. Warlocks and druids do not get along.
I'm an urbanite.
No,
Warlock urbanite. I don't know.
The other way is always kind of meh, like a druid who's very druid based, and then they get into arcana at some point.
Why, though?
Yeah, that's always my thing. It's like, meh, why? I mean, there's nothing against it if for some reason.
I mean, it could be fine. At least that Blade Song gets a little weird because that's a very specific trained thing. But if you're going for any other wizard, you just start studying it.
Right. I say this is more detached, like from a initial backstory. I'm saying if you... Sorry, I'm taking a step back totally here. If you're a druid and in your campaign, at some point you start taking an interest in the arcane world and then want to multi-class into wizard, there's nothing against that. And I'd say any class can follow suit there. Where if you're just, I'm a paladin, but also I really like reading books and I like studying and, oh, hey, magic's cool. There's nothing against that. It just doesn't make sense as much with a backstory as it does as something to naturally happen in your campaign.
Right.
Which is totally fine.
Yeah. You could also kind of go the Venom route, like from Spider-Man.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm not huge into Spider-Man, so I'm probably got details wrong here, so nobody crucify me for it. But, it's like that kind of alien thing where it forms a symbiotic relationship with the person.
So we're back to spores.
Yeah, back on the spore thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's kind of a continuation of you found that like magical mold. You just kind of play it up like that, sort of steal a lot from the whole Venom story.
That's actually like
from Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Even ignoring the dumb wizard combination thing, that's a great, lazy, decent story for your Spore druid.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
And you could kind of loop it into the schizophrenic things, like the spores do talk to you. It's a symbiotic entity, but it's not... Symbiotic doesn't mean it's only beneficial. There are trade-offs in a way.
I really like that.
Yeah.
A spore druid whose spores talk to it.
Ooh, you know who would probably have that creepy alien fungus? The worm mages we were talking about, like the first episode.
The Starspawn?
Starspawn.
The larval mage from the Starspawn?
Yeah. A Starspawn comic probably has crazy fungus that will take over your brain.
Okay, that's actually completely fair. You could even tie that into your Starspawn campaign.
It's perfect.
This is so specific. If you are currently playing in a campaign where your DM also listens to our podcast and took inspiration from the Starspawn episode, and because of that is making an entire campaign around the Starspawn, and you are now listening to this and like the Circle of the Spore Druid, then you can say that the symbiotic relationship you have is from the same comet where the Starspawn came and also the spores came and took over your mind, and now you are trying to figure out why this... I'm done. I'm done.
You happening to be a blade singer wizard. So all 19 people who exist like that, you're welcome. I like that flavor.
It's good flavor.
It's so out there, but that's like, I don't know. The rest of it, I don't know. It doesn't work for me.
Any other specific good crossovers here, class-wise?
Circle of the Land will get a whole bunch of spell slots back because they both have a recovery on a short rest.
Yeah, I think druids have nature recovery, whatever it's called, natural recovery, and the wizards have arcane recovery.
And they're identical, except for... Yeah, they're identical, just slightly different flavor. Half of your wizard level you could get back in spell slots on a short rest, or half of your druid level. Yeah.
So that kind
rounded
of just is it rounded up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually pretty nice. So I'd say overall that's kind of just making up for dipping out of one of these classes, because of course if you just stick with wizard, then you're always going to get half your level. If you just stick with Circle of the Land, you're always getting half your level.
Right.
It's not particularly a good thing, but it doesn't step on it. And is that you get a lot of spells back on a short rest, which ain't bad.
Right.
Bonus cantrip, not bad. Extra spells with Circle of... okay, so anything else with Circle of the Land? Land Stride. You can move through difficult terrain. I never really loved Circle of the Land.
It's just the caster druid.
Yeah, that's it.
So
it's actually a lot like it's like a wizard subclass grafted onto
Say the
druids.
Wizard subclasses are okay. They're hard to say they're the focus of the class themselves, though. So I don't know. They're all right. Circle of the Shepherd. Take a look at it. I just like Circle of the Shepherd, as long as you don't get into the levels that make you summon creatures. Then I love it. Second that you have to start summoning creatures, then as a DM, I hate it.
Yeah, then you make a lot of work for people. There's a lot of... That's a druid thing. It's like you have to know like 2 stat blocks.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a summoner now, need tons of stat blocks. Wizards have the same thing. You could probably combine some of that.
One thing that I want to talk about. The mistake that people make when letting people summon whatever they want. So it does say specifically in all summoning spells that it's up to the DM what gets summoned. And the reason for that is because if it was up to the players, then when they use summon fey creatures, they're always going to summon pixies, and they're always going to polymorph their entire party into T-Rexes. So as a DM, don't let your party do that.
I think there's actually a limitation, and they have to be an entire party of giant alligators, but
no,
they also can fly.
No, I don't think there's any limitation. They just get polymorph. Pixies, if you summon pixies, you can summon like 4 of them because they're all challenge rating 1/4. And just polymorph your entire party into T-Rexes. But it does say like...
They're not... that's such a... That's the worst way to play D&D. I don't want to be a dick, but if you design it around summoning pixies and abusing the fact that they have polymorph, as a DM, I'd be like, they actually, being pixies, polymorph you into chickens.
Ooh.
Because they are technically related to T-Rexes.
And they'd never seen a T-Rex before.
Why would a pixie just like come out of the ether and be like, oh yeah, totally, I'll do exactly what you say?
I don't know.
They're whimsical. They're fey.
But that's the thing just about the spell is the spell says, I want to summon things of this nature and pull them from the fey. And it's up to the DM to say what exactly you get out of the fey.
So yeah, 9 times out of 10, you should let your players choose whatever they want.
Right.
If they're trying to pull the pixie thing.
That's mostly what I'm saying. Is
turn your entire party into chickens.
Right.
Teach them a lesson.
As a DM, you have the entire world to make your party's lives hell. So do it at every opportunity. Is that what we're saying? Are we on the same page?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Anything else about this class? Help me out.
It's
not great.
So I guess the Circle of Spores, Blade Singer, or whatever, that could be fun and interesting. Anything else, it's just going for versatility because you have very, very different spell lists. And so it just comes down to kind of having one character that can do some cool druid stuff and some wizard stuff.
Right.
And that's it. Out of the other subclasses, I'm not seeing much that really works well together to make this unique character concept. Yeah, just doing things separately.
Yeah.
I think this is another example of, like I said before, kind of the spell puddle. It's if you go 10 in Wizard, 10 in Druid, you just have a really wide array of spells, but it's not going to help you very often.
Right.
I'm never sitting there at the table like, boy, I wish I had twice as many spells to pick from.
It's not even prepared.
Yeah.
It's not like you can prepare more. A couple more. But
so yeah, every day you're dealing with this stuff that's not helping you.
Right.
There's a lot of baggage with this.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, School of Conjuration could help with the Circle of the Shepherd. Once again, you get into that exact same trap I was talking about, where it sucks as a DM to have the action economy ripped from you every time, and to have one player who takes 20 minutes on their turn because they have to move each individual creature. But they both help. I mean, they're not
but
bad.
Not until higher level, really.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
It's the 10th and 14th for Conjuration, I think.
The good one is Focus Conjuration. It's your
10th
concentration
level.
Can't be broken at 10th level when you're doing the summonings. But
as a result of taking damage. So I guess incapacitated is the only way.
Well, if you're incapacitated, you're screwed anyway.
Right.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah. I'm kind of bored of saying this, but a 2-level dip into divination wizard to get 410.
Oh, come on.
And it kind of fits well flavor-wise.
Yeah.
Just like with the mystical
it
idea.
does.
I'll give it to you. Ooh, I did have necromancy and circle of the spore, though.
It doesn't help it.
It doesn't help it at all, but it's cool.
The flavor almost
super
kinda
cool.
works.
Yeah, we're bringing up zombies together, and it's just
I was studying zombies and I got infected by
it doesn't matter about
spores.
why they got infected. But the point is, they're walking around with spores all around them, and they're like fungal and creepy, and they like touch a dead body, and it gets covered in mold and starts moving and lurching forward like a zombie. No? I think it's cool.
Not
kinda
doing
cool.
a lot
Yeah.
for me.
Very
all right,
Mike
I guess.
Condit-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that combo. So it's definitely not the best when it comes to mechanics, but necromancy is pretty good. Circle of the Spore is really good. You just get an extra zombie friend, or 3 extra zombie friends a day with only 1 HP. Can you heal those if you summon a zombie with 1 HP?
I do not think so.
I mean, regardless, their max HP is 22. It's nothing like absolutely crazy.
I looked into this. There's not really a way to heal a zombie.
What do you mean?
Cure wounds doesn't affect constructs or undead.
Oh, it doesn't affect it at all.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay, so then no, not really. That would actually be kind of nice if these spores could do... You can definitely flavor your spells like this, where you use Cure Wounds as a Spore Druid, and it kind of makes like a healing fungus. That's cool.
Or gross.
Yeah.
Mushrooms grow out of the open wound. No, trust me, it's getting better. It's getting better.
you just wipe them off afterwards, and it's like, oh, hey, it's all clean. But there's nothing about Halo of Spores that actually allows you to heal people, and I feel like that would be almost a missed opportunity.
I can kind of see that, I guess. That sounds a little too powerful, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I wonder if... I've seen a lot of people on the Twitters combine the Circle of the Spores and the Warforged, and I hate that. But
why?
Why do I hate that?
No, like
why would they do that?
Why would they do that?
I don't know. But if we reflavored the spores as nanobots, now I'm on board.
And all the bows are guns, and all the swords are lightsabers, and all the goblins are actually space goblins.
You didn't change much there. You didn't even try.
D&D, but you just put space in front of every single noun. What's in this space town? There's a space tavern and a space blacksmith.
You don't sail the ocean, you sail the space ocean.
Yeah, the space ocean. That was a missed opportunity calling it space. It should have been the space ocean. Spaceships, they did get that right, though.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
That's true.
It's my space airship. What's the difference? That one has a balloon on it. Don't play space D&D. Stay on Earth. It's more fun. Trust me.
Don't tell people to not play space D&D. Just don't invite us to your space campaigns. Okay, that's all I got with the Druid. Druid?
The Druid, yeah, the Druid.
Anything else from you guys? You want to move on to...
I wish I had more. This wasn't a very long segment.
No,
but
if I'm being honest, it's not that there's nothing here; it's that there's nothing interesting to talk about.
You just get a bunch of different spells. It's just kind of
right. Like we could go through literally every single subclass and say, yeah, I mean these two don't do anything wrong together, but they also don't do anything right. It's not adding much. If your heart's really set on it, go for it. But there's definitely some pitfalls here, and I think we covered all those.
And the Spore Slinger, which did kind of come out of nowhere. That was a little pleasing.
Yeah, that's the fun one.
Yeah. All right. Next.
Yes. Well, for that, awkward self-promotion. Follow us on Twitter, @monsters_multi. Give us reviews anywhere you can leave reviews. That's real important, etc., etc. I know I'm saying this very mundanely and monotonely, but we actually really appreciate all of that. It's very helpful, and hearing feedback and suggestions and all that's great. And
literally anytime we get anything positive, I screenshot it and send it to our chat because I need that validation. And I emphasize this every time, but it's the only reason I keep doing this, guys.
Also, thank you for the Reddit silver, whoever did that.
Oh, yeah.
Unless it was an insult, because it used to be an insult, in which case, fuck you, man.
No, they actually had to pay money at this point, so I don't...
No, if they had to pay money to insult us, I'm actually even more mad.
That was an April Fool's joke for a little bit, wasn't it? It was like April.
They added it real, but I do appreciate it if it wasn't an insult. So thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Yes.
I don't like all this. Too much attention.
This week's monster will be finishing up the Elder Elemental series of legendary bosses. We've done the horrifying Sea Storm dragon-shaped water monster, the air snake, the dirt turtle, and finally, we're going to wrap it up with the phoenix. Much more common mythological trope, but this one is exactly what you probably expect. It's a giant bird, and it's made out of fire. So what do you guys think? Is this the scariest, the least scary?
By challenge rating alone, it's the least scary, and I'm gonna say
A little surprising about that, right?
I guess the what did you call it? Giant sea snake, also known as the Leviathan, is elemental water incarnate.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Literally an ocean storm.
Right. The other one, the air
elemental
tempest, is
Elder
just
Tempest.
a storm. Elder Tempest. Sorry. And then the Zaratan is
Dirt turtle.
turtle. I hate you so much.
Yeah, no, it kind of does slap down the magnitude of how bad this thing is. It's like, oh, look at the dirt turtle. It's destroying the capital.
Just by walking. Yeah. Like it's just walking and destroying cities. But yeah, the Phoenix is a little underwhelming. And that's just in reference. Like compared to the other three, it's really not that bad. But what's good about that is it means you can actually throw it at your party and they have a chance. These other ones, I felt like they're just absolutely ridiculous. You have like a full level 20 party. This one's challenge rating 16, and I could see a party of 14, 13s taking care of this thing, especially with most of its damage is just fire. It doesn't do any other types, and fire is the most easy to resist. There's a lot of options that you have. And again, limiting it to only one damage type makes it so there's a lot of spells you can use in preparation. It's just cheap potions you can buy even. We usually don't talk about that route, but
right.
It's something you can
Fire
do
resist potions.
Yeah, in preparation. Like if I was going out, if the city was like, there's a phoenix and it's coming straight towards us, and the party was like, we need fire resistance potions, and they're like, ooh, yeah, that's we don't have any of those, and there's not a single alchemist in the city who can help out there. So, good luck. I think you'll have to just deal with that.
So, with this one, and what I think would make it tricky, and it kind of applies to all the other elder elementals, is if you're playing it right, I don't think your PC should really just fight it. You go and meet it in a field and head-to-head battle like Final Fantasy style, where it sits there and bobs up and down and hits you with fire attacks. It's just destruction. Like that's it. It has 2 intelligence, so it doesn't really have like a will of its own. It's elemental fire in a physical form, and all it wants to do is burn the world. Not because of evil reasons, so to speak. It's neutral. It's what it does. It's fire. It wants to spread itself. It has 150 fly speed.
120.
120 fly speed. Still very fast.
Yeah.
And it has fire form where it could squeeze through anything 1 inch wide and pass through spaces and creatures, and anything that it does that with is caught on fire. So it's the type of thing, it's just going to dive bomb through like Watergate and light the entire city on fire, and then go and do that to all the crops and fly on to the next town, burning everything along the way.
Right. So
the challenge is capturing this thing down to even be able to kill it. And then once you actually do, if you manage to capture it and kill it, it has a rebirth. And and X number of days later, what is it? When it dies, it explodes in 40-10 fire damage. Destroys the phoenix body and leaves behind a 100% invulnerable egg that weighs 5 pounds. If you touch it, it gives you 66 fire damage. And then after 1d6 days, it hatches a new phoenix and just starts again.
Right. So the one thing about that, though, is all of these elemental beings can be banished. And that would actually let you banish that. So basically, as a PC, you need to kill this thing, survive enough to, live through its fiery death. And then as it's in its cinder egg, just banish it. And that's the only way to get rid of it.
You mail it somewhere else.
If you touch it it does 66 fire damage around, so you kind of need to banish it where it lies. But I feel like you still have some.
Let's find a guy who's immune
options.
to fire damage.
Yeah, I forgot about Banish. It does have legendary resistances.
Yeah, these are all legendary monsters.
But do you think that in its egg form, it still gets its legendary resistances?
I'm not sure. Even if it does, I don't think it matters.
No.
At that level, you just do it 3 times, and then I doubt it even gets a save, really.
Yeah, and those are probably going to be burned by the time that burned. Those are probably going to be burned by the time you actually kill this thing, anyways. But it's still a good fight.
Can you banish it though?
Can you banish the egg?
Yeah, because it's not a creature. I'm going to pull up the banish spell.
Okay.
Does it have to be a creature? Target a creature?
I believe so. I mean, I banished this rock. It's like, where are you banishing the rock, man?
Back to the elemental plane of rocks. Not Earth, the elemental plane of rocks.
They just chill. They're really nice guys.
Yeah.
So then, if that was the
You
case,
attempt to send one creature that you could see within range to another plane of existence. And let's hear, what's the wording here? Destroys the phoenix body and leaves behind an egg-shaped cinder that weighs 5 pounds. The cinder is blazing hot and deals 66 fire damage.
it doesn't call it a creature.
Yeah, the cinder is immune to all damage, and after 1d6 days, hatches a new phoenix. So you kind of have to get that banish off when it's alive and well.
That actually does make things pretty frustrating, doesn't it?
Now let's see. Banish is a charisma saving throw, and this thing has +9 to its charisma saving throws and 3 legendary resistances.
Which all of these things do have pretty good charisma saving throws for that reason.
For banish,
and other reasons, but
So ultimately, it's what I think it's what you would have to do short of the DM writing in some sort of plot device to get rid of this thing.
Right, a ritual to send it back to the correct plane.
I think it would need to be contained. It would need to be banished.
Or you could send it somewhere else.
Or you could just drop it in the ocean.
Yeah. The other thing is dropping it in the ocean.
Yeah, you just drop it in the ocean.
It doesn't say anything specific that they can't deal with the ocean.
No, it doesn't.
But you do. I mean, you are you kick the can down the road. It's at the bottom of the ocean, whatever. Well, somebody else is probably going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I feel like it would eventually be able to just come back.
The Sehujin are going to have to deal with that.
I don't think it's smart enough to realize where it came from. So you just got to sail as far as you can in 1d6 days. 1d6 days.
Right.
Yeah, you don't know how long. You might have one day.
Well, then you just cast Magic Circle on it every day. So that it at least is contained in that area. Magic Circle. It's a cleric spell.
I don't think this that actually might work. I'm not sure.
It might be too big.
I don't.
Isn't that what's? Do you remember the specifics, or should I look it up?
You can make it either it keeps everybody out or keeps something in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. 10-foot radius, 20-foot tall cylinder of a magical energy. Choose one or more of the following creature types / elementals. So yeah, the creature can't willingly enter. If the creature tries, the creature has disadvantage. When you cast a spell, you can elect to cause its magic to operate in the reverse direction, preventing a creature in the specified type from leaving the cylinder and protecting targets outside of it. Usually these things say if it overlaps, they're pushed out. So like a wall of force. But that's you can make a dome of force, and if the creature's not fully contained, they're pushed outside of it.
The gargantuan. No.
Small to gargantuan.
The gargantuan size is totally arbitrary for this creature. Its size, it can fit through a 5-foot thing, so it's just kind of squished. Yeah.
1 inch.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a little odd, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't see any reason why you couldn't put this thing into a magic circle.
Okay.
Which doesn't just solve the problem.
No, that actually makes it worse. You're now on a boat, we're going to the middle of the ocean. Oh shit, it hatched. Well, don't worry, we got this thing in this magic circle for how long? Like an hour?
Yeah.
2 hours? 10 hours?
1 hour.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long it is. Regardless, it
does not solve it.
But you are giving yourself an hour to now kill it again. But I don't think that that's fun. So if we're saying you find a way to hold this thing where it's at, maybe you cast Magic Circle on it out near a city, wherever it's causing problems. You kill it. It turns into this egg. You all find a way to move it because you can't touch it. So you put it on your what is it? The disc. Tensor's floating disc. Yeah, so you put it on your Tensor's floating disc and move it. You've got an unspecified amount of time as to when it's going to burst back. I would, even as a DM, give the like, to an extent is like the light gets brighter or something. It's starting to crack and you're like, okay, time to cast Magic Circle, whatever. Give him some time. The thing bursts out and now you just have to fight it again. And then you kill it and it's back to an egg and now you're on a boat. It's just not fun. It doesn't sound fun. You're just having the exact same fight over and over again until you can drop it in the ocean and then it comes back anyways. So your only option is to find a way as a plot device to banish it to the other realm, be it by a lucky banish, which would suck if you did 5 combats and banish still never worked, or you do like an actual ritual of sorts that you can get together in a couple of days. Maybe you make some fail conditions for that, where you've got, 4 days. The PCs don't know, so they need to every day do something specific to start putting this ritual together and get this thing banished. We'll use that same word before it comes back, or else you have to fight it again and repeat this process.
Okay, all right. Let's add some rigidity, some actual mechanics.
Okay.
Let's say, all right, you've got 4 days. This has happened before. Phoenix, shows up every now and then.
At this point, they're just annoyed with it.
And there's a team of wizards, maybe even Phoenix sorcerers. How about that?
That's UA.
It's UA.
Yeah, we're not talking UA.
But they're NPCs now, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But they know how to get rid of the Phoenix. And it's going to take 4 days of concentration and chanting, and flame elementals are invading the city to try and prevent this because they want the Phoenix back. And the party has to keep them off, and bam. All right.
Okay. Damn. Totally fine. I like that. That's a good idea.
But yeah, this is the exact same vein of problem faced by every single one of these, except for, I think, the Dirt Turtle is the one that I was least problematic with. It, like, the DM has to really think, how do you make this fight not frustrating, annoying, and unsatisfying?
Right.
Frustrating isn't necessarily bad. Frustrating your players does remind them this world is not nice. But if it's unrewarding at the same time, that's a problem.
Right.
And just saying like, oh, this thing's just going to come back forever until some arbitrary thing happens. No, you make something up. Make up a series of events that are required.
No, I like that idea. So usually these things come into existence or into this realm because a group of cultists summoned it. Mm-hmm. So now it's been summoned. It goes on its tirade and absolutely decimates the countryside. The PCs finally get it into its egg form. And as you said, you get it to these wizards. They now need a couple of days to chant things out, where the cultists are now sending fire elementals, sending themselves, sending whatever to attack the city where it's at. That's a totally great way to play it and allows you to really almost ramp things up, making it seem like the Phoenix was the easy part. Because, as I said, it's not that bad of a fight. It's only 175 HP.
Right.
For a challenge rating 16, that's like a couple of turns, to be honest. As long as you can live past its attacks, which we haven't even talked about yet.
And there's kind of a reason for that. They kind of suck.
Yeah, it's stat block, other than the Fiery Death and Fire Form, like the Rebirth and Fire Form, its stat block's pretty lackluster.
No.
It is Flyby, which is nice. We're just, does not provoke opportunity attacks. The Legendary Resistance. And then one Beak Attack and 1 Talon. It
has Legendary actions.
Yeah.
But yeah, so its multi-attack is 1 Beak, 1 Talon attack. The Beak is 2d6 plus 8 fire damage. Meh. And then it sets the creature on fire.
Yeah.
Unless they take an action to put it out, it does 1d10. Okay. I mean, that's not bad. It's annoying as hell to have 1d10 damage every turn if you don't put the fire out.
Yeah.
At the same time, as we found when we were fighting some fire elementals the other day,
which have the pretty much the exact same thing,
where sometimes it's just like, if I take an action to put this out, they're just going to hit me next turn and I'm going to be on fire again.
Yeah, so just stay on fire.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay on fire.
Or if you hit them and like melee attack within 5 feet, you also put on fire.
Does that do this, or is that just fire elementals? Okay.
Nope. Yeah, that's the fire form.
Right. So just accept it. You're going to be on fire. You need to find a way to resist it. You need to do something. But then the fiery talons are 2d8 plus 8 fire damage, and that's it. None of this is particularly scary.
Right. I mean, plus 13 to hit, reach 15 feet. So they're always going to be hitting for the most part. But still, it's...
At the levels you're fighting this, it's annoying, but it's not impossible to deal with.
Right.
So it's legendary actions. Again, nothing extremely special. It's got Peck, which makes a beak attack again, can set somebody on fire. It can move 120 feet. You're never going to have a problem moving this thing far enough. And then swoop, it can move up to its speed and attack with its fiery talons. That costs 2 actions. You know, they're good. It's good to be there, so that way you can actually do some damage. Otherwise, this thing's totally worthless. But I'm just not that impressed, except for when it explodes and dies. And
Yeah.
even that's not that much
I'm
damage.
super salty about how little damage that does when you kill
The
it.
Phoenix Sorcerer does more, I'm pretty sure.
Basically.
It was at least like a fireball explosion.
In my opinion, it should be like cataclysmic how much damage it does.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That also kind of isn't fun. You beat the Phoenix. Everybody rolled dex saves. Just kidding. It doesn't matter. I decided this was 40d10. So I like these are great for destroying cities, just like the other ones. But this is definitely a very weak incarnation of the legendary elementals.
Well, it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. This shouldn't just be a straight up fight.
No.
It's the fight, the encounter should be the party trying to stop it, like chase it down, because it's going to be faster than the party, especially once then. So it could dash. So all it has to do is just pass through like a city to catch it on fire. Basically, it doesn't have to take any actions. So fly 120 feet, dash another 120 feet, and then 3 times in that round use the move legendary action.
I don't think you. Well, that's fine. I don't think you need to introduce mechanics into that, though.
Yeah, mechanically speaking, it's giving you a great way to burn down the entire city.
Yeah,
but you're usually not going to be in combat when that part happens. Maybe you are.
Maybe
but,
a little bit.
I would do that, because that's the challenge. You're trying to keep up with it and kill it.
Gotcha.
As all it's doing is just blasting around at lightning quick speed, fire quick speed. I don't know.
We already did the Elder Tempest. Can't say lightning quick.
Burning the city and the countryside and screaming over to the next one, and you have to keep up with it as you're doing damage, which is hard to do.
PCs literally cannot keep up, though.
Yeah, you would have to keep it kind of in a region, and you would design. What's the book that added the chase encounters?
That was Waterdeep Dragon Heist talked about.
Yes, Waterdeep I think did this. There is a way to design it as a DM, these moving battlefields, so to speak. You have encounters in various parts, and sometimes enemies will be part of it. If you pre-design it, this is one of the things you do have to pre-design.
Yeah. For what it's worth, since we're talking about that, I actually finally ran that chase scene in Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and I just completely changed it because I didn't really like how they did it. It was just like fully every single turn you roll a d20, and if roll good, then nothing happened. If roll bad, something happened. And it was actually really lame the way it was written. It didn't introduce any actual combat in it. I think it's a good framework to start on and like have things happen as you're running across roofs. But I just treated it as a treadmill and ran a combat, and occasionally weird stuff happened. That worked a lot better.
I think they have more details somewhere else too.
The Dungeon Master Guide has a section on it.
On chasing?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, because all that Waterdeep Dragon Heist did was add like a table of weird things that can happen.
Okay,
it's
that was
it's
probably
more
supposed to
than that.
happen with the Dungeon Master Guide stuff.
Okay.
Read the DMG, guys.
Well, everyone had fun and only one person died.
Another thing, if you ever want to get rid of an airship, this is a good way to get rid of your airship.
Ooh, are you looking at me with that one?
I'm just saying that it's happened to a lot of DMs. They accidentally give their players an airship.
Or Wizards of the Coast writes an entire campaign around getting an airship at one point.
Yeah, if you want to get rid of the airship, this guy is designed to get rid of an airship.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have much issue there.
No.
I mean, but that...
Your entire airship's on fire. Get out, I guess.
I wonder how players generally feel about things like that. Like if your DM just basically said, "No, I'm taking this thing away from you. I don't like it anymore." I mean, a lot of times those little things, the airships, the overpowered magic weapons, PCs get really attached to very quickly. And just taking them away because you have the power to is, in their eyes...
That's why the Phoenix was summoned.
In their eyes, a gross misuse of power. Now, from a DM side, it's very understandable sometimes where you recognize the campaign's going to get out of hand if I let this keep going. So for this or that reason, I'm taking it away. But that's a really difficult ground to navigate.
It is. I would do it as an open conversation. We just ran into this in the current campaign I'm running, where I was found the book and gave you guys a magic
Wizards
item.
of the Coast fucked it up again.
And just thinking on it, is like, wow, I really just don't want to have to balance around this. It's going to make things really complicated, make you guys really powerful. All I'm thinking of is how can I counter that it was a shield guardian at like 6th level, 7th level. You guys are 8 now. 8 now, but still, yeah. it's crazy strong. And so I just said, like, hey, this was a mistake. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have fouled this. I'm going to have to retcon that out. And then I gave her, it was, gave the wizard who went to a choice on, here's 3 different options. Pick which one you want.
Right.
And
none of these add essentially an extra party member, like the broken thing I gave you last time.
Yeah, and like she was upset, but you know.
We were all pretty upset except Kevin. Like, Kevin was upset about the whole situation. Everybody was mad.
I was not mad even a little, because the second that you like gave it to us and I looked at the stats, I even warned her. I was like, hey, I'm gonna talk to Kevin. This is my girlfriend. She's playing the wizard. And I was like, I gotta talk to Kevin about this, because like this thing is pretty game breaking. And like I mentioned it to you offhand, and then you came to our chat and you're like, hey, so I need to take that away. And I'm like, I was waiting for it. And I don't blame you. It was dumb.
Yeah, that's just, I think that's the best way to handle it. As opposed to trying to write in a reason into the story of why that's taken. I think that ends up feeling really unsatisfying, just more frustrating than just recognizing to your group, hey, this is a game, I'm in person, I screwed up. Mm-hmm. We need to undo that.
And it's still fine to like put it in story wise. Like, sure, if that was the case, and I was like, hey guys, I'm really tired of the airship, and everyone's like, oh, I hate you, but I understand. Then you can say, but I'm not going to do this in a retconny way. We're going to play it out. I'm going to throw a phoenix at you guys, and you know, just as a heads up, there's going to be 0 chance of survival. Or you don't tell them everything.
There's not 0. No,
not survival.
You got to give them like 5% chance to save the airship. They're not gonna do it. But when they're like, "What'd you take our airship?" I'm like, "I didn't take shit, man. You lost the
airship." And that's, I mean, kind of fair. I mean, to an extent. Like, even if, I guess the best way to frame it then is say, I am going to throw an extremely difficult challenge at you guys. And if you succeed, great. You win, you keep the airship. No one's going to be happy, but you got it. Or you lose it, and we're all going to have a lot more fun. And I don't know, it's just weird. At the end of the day, it's still weird, because now your party's like in this weird situation where they're like, well, I still want to fight for it because that's my airship. But the other side of them is like, but the DM hates it, and I don't want to ruin my DM's life.
Just keep it opaque, man. It's like, oh yeah, I love your airship too. It's glowering at your players. But there appears to be what is a cloud of fire approaching. Huh. Wonder what that could be. Would anyone like to roll initiative? It's up to you guys.
I would hate to take away your agency in this situation.
Yeah, you can just go like below deck. I'm sure it's fine. Clouds catch on fire all the time.
Yeah, it's difficult ground to navigate. I'm going to agree with you though, Kevin. I think the only way to really handle it is just have a frank conversation with your party and say, "Hey, I fucked up," or "Hey, this isn't fun anymore, so I need to change stuff up." You know, and most of the time the party can feel it too. You know, like when I took away the entire land travel in the Storm King's Thunder. I don't know if I think we all kind of agreed that was for the best, so we kept the airship. But there have definitely been times when a magic item goes too far and things need to be fixed.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we've talked about something outside of here. People will argue that it's like, well, you're the DM, just adjust accordingly, which is technically you can, but it adds so much extra work.
Or it's just not fun.
Yeah.
Say it's not fun in a different way.
Right.
It does add extra work. For sure. So if you're saying now everybody's more powerful, so just make the monsters more powerful, well, now you're running into issues where it doesn't make sense why they're fighting these things, because they have to throw really high challenge ratings, or the health doesn't scale either.
Exactly.
And now we're just in this odd thing where I'm trying to throw things that can do 20,000 damage in a turn, and now I have to give the PCs 20,000 HPs, that way they can survive.
Well, that's watching your game become essentially an Old West style duel.
Right.
This game is not designed around who fires first one round combat.
Right.
And that's not exactly fun. I don't think they really dueled for fun back then either. You know, getting shot in the chest after 6 seconds isn't exactly thrilling. That's why we invented football.
It can just be a little concussed.
If football was 6 seconds and they all had guns, it would not be a very popular sport. So yeah, that's where the balance breaks the entire game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you give your party...
Sorry.
Everyone roll a d20, I'll roll a d20, and then I'll just tell you if you won or lost.
How many goblins are there?
Yeah, so it's like you give a member of your party a really powerful magic weapon that does crazy amounts of damage, and they're just slaughtering everything you throw at them. And it's like, oh, well, the rest of the party feels really far behind them. It's like, all right, well, they get crazy powerful weapons too. And then obviously now they're just anything that's level appropriate it's a worthless fight.
Yep.
So, all right, here's these things that have enough health to take that damage, just put you more in line, fight them. And now these new enemies are doing their entire max HP in one turn. It's like, all right, so damage-wise, offensive-wise, they're on the same level. Defensive-wise, they no longer are, and now your party's just being slaughtered. So now you need to give them magic items to boost their HP, and that's really annoying.
Or you get into the realm of DM work, where you take the challenge rating initially, and then you go, okay, well, I need to downscale this thing's offensive capabilities, but keep its defensive capabilities.
Right.
Or you're just adding health to everything. And then what did you really do?
Yeah.
I hated that approach more than anything.
Adding the health, because it just draws it out.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of these monsters and stuff, they have these abilities that are supposed to be used up within the time frame their health is used up.
Yep.
And so now there's just kind of drags it out. And then, so, all right, you could extend the uses of these abilities. And it's just getting back into so much work.
Right.
And you can, and I'm sure some people say, oh, you're just being a lazy DM. But it's like, we play D&D we play D&D for the framework of D&D. Like, here are the rule sets. Here's kind of like guidelines to follow to do challenging things when your player's at this point and this point and this point. And you could grab these things and throw them in. It should be a level appropriate encounter that's challenging and engaging. That's why we play D&D as opposed to just a kind of our own sort of make-believe system.
That's why we don't just sit around and make stuff up the entire time.
Yeah.
We roll dice for a reason, because D12s are great.
And everybody only has a finite amount of time. So if you're spending all this time rebalancing monsters, the story's probably going to suffer. The role-playing's probably going to suffer. The exploration pillars are going to suffer.
As much as it already does.
More pillars. More pillars.
And I mean... At the same time, I will say it is the number one new DM mistake, is just not realizing how to balance party, how to progress people naturally in a way where they still get those moments of feeling really powerful, but also those moments of feeling extremely weak. I mean, at any level, you should have a time where you feel like you're just really against the ropes.
Right.
And it's difficult. It's not something that you can just like show up on your first day of DMing and be like, I got the power balance completely right.
Right.
It's fun. It's fun to have magic items. It's fun to give people magic items.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
The number one way around that is give people goofy magic items. I mean, seriously, that's little things that people don't realize they're going to be able to use well. I think give the exact same amount of satisfaction as a PC. And sure, you don't get a +4 weapon that does 4d10 necrotic weapon or damage, but you just get this sense of like, cool, I have a new thing that I can use in this very specific situation, and when that comes up, I'm going to feel great, or it's now up to that PC to like think a little differently, because now they have something that can basically be a ladder at any time. Cool, that's something that's dumb, but like, it's there, it's
right.
Pocket ladder is a great magic item.
The robe of useful items.
Robe of many ladders.
I think it's useful items.
The robe of many horses, you mean?
No, Kevin, I've redone it. The robe of many eyeballs.
Oh, right.
It's the robe of useful items, but everything's an eyeball.
So you pull off the patch and you got an eyeball.
Yeah.
Sorry, this bar only takes eyeballs. We had too many transmutation wizards turning silvers into gold. Like, wow, this robe just got real useful.
So, robe of useful items is covered in patches of mundane items, and you can pull off the patches and you have it. And you get like a rowboat, and a ladder's one of them, and
right,
stuff like that. It's useful items.
Yeah.
There's another robe.
There's horses.
Is
on
there?
It too.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's another robe. I forgot the exact name. It's what that wizard who I took the shield guardian from.
Eyes.
Yeah, it's what she ended up taking. It gives you dark vision and see behind you, a bunch of cool stuff. But it's covered in eyes. So the joke is it's the same functionality as the robe of many items, but it's all eyes. So you just keep ripping eyes out of your robe.
It's so useless.
I don't know why I keep coming up with this stuff.
The robe of useless eyes. But you know what? If I gave that to a party, I guarantee they'll find a way to use it.
They're just going to creep people out. I mean,
that's fine.
I'm going to get advantage on my intimidation check by ripping eyes out of my chest.
Maybe. Maybe.
Oh! There's an evil caterer who's doing a wedding for the royal princess. You have to ruin his reputation so you get jobs as waiters, and you put the eyeballs in the pasta. Bam.
Basically, my point is that if you give PCs something dumb or just silly or something that you think, well, this isn't extremely useful, I guarantee they will find a way to make it useful. And that's more fun and a better way to give out magic items than to just think, how can I make them powerful? The levels make them powerful. Everything around this game is made to make you feel powerful if you really know how to play it. And if you listen to Monsters in Multiclass, you're going to learn how to min-max and roleplay. So share us with your friends.
Jeez.
Seamless. Come on.
That was good. I think most people would not have known to switch it off real quick because realize we're switching into self-promotion.
All right. I'm basically done here.
Yeah, I got nothing. We got really off topic on the Phoenix. That is our last Elder Elemental.
Yeah.
Which, overall, I think all 4 of them are really cool monsters. It's, in a sense, though, they're almost like the lose condition. Like, if you manage to not stop the cult in your campaign, now you have to fight these really annoying things. They're all 4 of them, really. Yeah.
But if you do have to fight them, it'll be a fun end fight. And by fun, I mean frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, unless it's set up. And again, we covered all that in the previous episode. So.
Funstrating.
Funstrating.
It's fun, but I'm mad.
All right. That's it. Thanks for listening.
Yep, thanks.
Next week on Monsters in Multiclass.
Join us next week as we discuss the Cleric Wizard and the Sibriacs from Mordekainen's Tome of Foes. Is anyone listening? I'm trapped in here. Kevin won't let me stop recording.